It's another beautiful day right here, and it's a wonderful time to come on your way again. My name is Ramsey Enoch, reaching you live and direct from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. This is the time a lot of people have been waiting for, and that's the time for us to bring you to speed with the headlines for the day. Good morning, Antonia.
Good morning, Ramsey.
Good morning, Dorcas.
Morning,
What's the
Dorcas.
secret? The smiles. I just want to understand something.
It's the weather.
They've been smiling since we got into the
Okay,
building.
what makes you happy?
I
When
love
you say
it.
it's
The rain.
I love rain.
No, of a truth, I slept well because the heat was reduced.
Yeah.
Even though the
There
band
was no
A
light.
thing didn't
Yeah,
happen in my
yeah.
area.
So the weather was cool. The night was peaceful.
Okay, the night was peaceful. I like that. I like
exactly.
that one. Night peaceful.
It was cozy.
I like it when the night
night
is
was
peaceful.
cozy.
It's so cool. All right, let's bring you to speed with the headlines that we have for the day, beginning from the Daily Times newspaper above the header this morning. There is this headline that says Senate approves Tinubu's $500 million loan request. Details read on page 6 of the Daily Times newspaper, and this one says 5 Rivers commissioners bow out of Fubara's cabinet. I'm still wondering, I'm still waiting for when the kata, let me just call it that way, in Rivers State is going to be over. As at yesterday, Fubara said he is going to probe the administration of the now FCT minister, talking about Oweleke. But then, I don't know. Well, whatever happens, we'll bring you to speed with that. More headlines still coming this morning on page 5 of the Daily Times newspaper. This one says Emefiele denies alleged unlawful Naira redesign charge. Then that takes us to the big story for the day. This big story is so big. Do you know why it's so big? It's talking about the minimum wage. My God. I saw this story and I was like, hey, come on, what's happening? Are we, I don't know. I don't want to use this word, but then is it that some persons are more important than the others in this our setting? One of my colleagues back then will say in a sane country, but then let's see how it's really gonna go. As a matter of fact, NLC TUC pulled out of minimum wage negotiation. Details read on page 2, and some writers to that story. Federal government proposes 48,000 Naira. Labor insists on 615,000. Look at the margin. 48,000. 615,000. Do the calculation back at home and let me know what you arrive at. I know you are a mathematician when it comes to money. All right, another writer says that gives federal government end of May to reconsider stance, initiate genuine move to resolve impasse. All right, let's see how that's gonna go. Finally, from the Daily Times newspaper this morning, don't fiddle with Nigeria's pension funds asset. Atiku wants Tinubu. Just one writer to that story says that it's a breach of the Pension Reform Act, and that's gonna be the size of the headlines from the Daily Times newspaper this morning. If anyone interests you, get to the vendors, pick the copy, and go through it. Over to you for the next paper.
All right, I'm going to be going through the Nation's newspaper this morning. The big story that I have here, so bold. Government, 448,000, I wish 448,000 offer breaks up new minimum wage talk. The Labour Congress are saying, we no go gree, we no go gree. Then another story says, building a good society takes time, says Kuka. And that's on page 4 of the Nation's newspaper. Wagu Abe defends Wige's integrity. That's on page 4 also on the Nation's newspaper. Emefiele charged with unlawful printing of new Naira notes. You can find that on the Nation's newspaper on page 3. NUC ready with board of 61 federal varsities. You can also find that on page 3 of the Nation's newspaper. Marginal 0.49% rise in inflation rate raises hope. That also on the front page of the Nation's newspaper. WAHEC to begin CBT in November. You find that also. There's a lot of stories on page 3 on the Nation's. Obaseki to unite Oba of Benin chiefs on page 28 of the Nation's newspaper. And finally, BOL to extend single-digit loan to media. You can find that story on page 4 of the Nation's newspaper. Over to you, Antonio.
All right, thank you, Dorcas. Let's take a look at the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. 8 die, 20 injured as man burns Kanu mosque over inheritance tussle. And that's you can find on page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Rivers crisis, 5 pro-Wike commissioners quit Fubara's cabinet. And like you said, the drama keeps unfolding.
It keeps unfolding on a
State,
daily basis.
On a daily basis.
Now, what do they want?
We honestly do not know. We hope this subsides so the Fubara can actually focus on governing
governance.
the state.
But then, he can't do that when he's been distracted by Wike's loyalists. I'm not calling Wike this time. We have Fubara's loyalists and we have Wike's loyalists. And I say house divided against itself. So I keep wondering
now if
it's really going to stand anytime soon.
Quitting his cabinet. That's a lot. So let's take a look at the big story. I think the big story is on every paper today. Labour rejects federal government's 48,000 naira minimum wage offer. And we have 2 riders to that story. Gives Tinubu 2-week ultimatum. And the second one says government is silent on this matter. Moving on, gas supply.
So, do you know what I thought when I saw that headline? When I saw 48, I was thinking it's 480,000.
You almost read 480,000.
480,000.
I'm like,
but what do you think will happen? What do you think will happen if civil servants, if the minimum wage in Nigeria is 480,000?
Life is good.
Money no they do person. No they say life will be better and good.
Not in this situation. We will not. At least we go silent.
Well, that's true. Back to you, Antonia.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the rest of the headlines. Gas supply gets 25% boost as Tinubu unveils 3 projects. This headline, it's not funny, but I just have to. Yobe goes spiritual against electricity vandals, slaughters cow.
Do you watch India film those days? When I say gang 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 gang, I don't know. During the time of let me not say, I don't take you back. But if you do watch India film those days, you will know what I'm talking about. Well, going spiritual.
But is it going spiritual that is going to some of these things? To be honest, when we go online on social media, a lot of people that live in other climes, in other parts of the world, even some other African countries, they laugh at us, or they say all kinds of things that Nigerians are very spiritual, that things that ordinarily a good government would fix, we tend to pray about it. You see someone praying about visa, not like it is bad to pray about those things. Praying about things that the government would have, if we had a working government, we would not necessarily be doing that.
Do you know what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
I think the media is being mild. It could be that they are going diabolical and they don't want to use the word diabolical and they are saying spiritual. Because I don't know spiritual in what sense.
What would the slaying of cows? What would the slaying of cows with the blood now? What would the slaying of cows do?
All right, well,
we need details on this.
Well,
and finally,
the
Daily Trust newspaper, just before Ramsey takes over, food crisis worsens as inflation hits 33.69%. The prices of you go to the market every day. The price of goods, food keeps increasing on a daily basis, and one will wonder, when will this come to an end? Ramsey, let's take a look at the next paper.
Well, the next paper is also talking about food, and that's what's looking at me right now. That's what's actually looking at my face right now. From the Punch newspaper this morning, still some headlines coming on your way. Imported food prices rise as inflation hits 33.6%. That's coming from NBS. Details read on page 19. Then this one is above the header to the left-hand side of the Punch newspaper, saying Tinubu to tackle power outages with 2 gas plants. Right. Remember, the borrowing of some dollars. We'll talk about that later. Then this one says a Western democracy model not working for Nigeria. Obasanjo insists. OBJ is beginning to talk now. He said, Western democracy. You know what it brought to us? Nigerians were clamoring. We want democracy. We're tired of military regime, military rule. Now we want democracy. Obasanjo is coming. Obasanjo was a military president and a civilian president. And, he's been, right from those days.
Way back.
And he's saying Western democracy model not working for Nigeria, meaning what we're practicing is the Western democracy. But I think there is some form of adulteration here because of the kind of corruption we are finding among politicians. Obasanjo is the one saying that. I'm not the one saying it. Details read on page 12. Then the big story, minimum wages on all the papers this morning, like she said. Labour dumps negotiation over federal government's 48,000 naira proposal. Who would ever take that? Just one rider to that story. Negotiation has broken down. 48,000 naira amounts to wage reduction. Unions are the ones saying that. And finally, from here, autopsy failed to reveal cause of Mohbad's death. Well, I thought it's over. But then the pathologist is coming out this morning to say autopsy failed to reveal cause of Mohbad's death. I wonder what else would.
They said, I saw a news that the body was already decomposing
before they took it for autopsy.
So that's why it could not reveal the actual cause of the death.
Can we actually trust the pathologist?
Well, that we can't say, yeah. That we can't say. But then I think what have all the while solved problems like this is autopsy. But for autopsy not to be working, I don't know what else to say. Details read on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper, and that's going to be the size of the headlines this morning. We are going on a quick break, and when we return, we're going to hit it big. We're going to talk about the minimum wage, the difference. Do the mathematics yourself. 48,000, 615,000. We will be back after this break. Don't go nowhere.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleke TV. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleke TV, rising star at the fairground.
Once again, welcome back from that break. It's still Ramsey, Antonia, and of course Dorcas. Let's talk about the big story this morning. Labour rejecting 48,000 naira minimum wage offer. The federal government is given an offer. You know how much it was before over the years? 35,000. Now they are saying 48,000. I was even wondering, these people cannot even think of maybe a round figure to an extent. But then what's the difference between 35,000 and 48,000 in an economy such as this? In a same country, I think we should be even considering people who contribute to the economic growth, the working class of every nation. But in Nigeria, the reverse is the case. Labour have been for a while now struggling and pushing for 615, and an analyst said here that, well, they just wanted to give a benchmark. That's why they went that far. So no do. The thing for just reach like maybe 100 or something. I'm just saying because I'm supposed to benefit from that because I'm a worker too. Yeah. The minimum wage is to my advantage.
I was about asking you how much would you suggest when you said
100K minimum wage. So anybody where one pay salary, it should be above 100.
I was thinking minimum wage 480.
Is 480. My sister. Nigeria, we will get there. Yes, we will get there.
Looking at all
it go better. Shebi, is our prayer in Nigeria.
Yes, we pray that things will get better. That's more policies that would favor Nigerians come on board. But then looking at the government being silent on this, are they trying to tell us that they cannot do any other thing about this? It's more of a situation of, I've given you 48,000. If you're not taking it, then less. Because we need to, for Labour to reject the federal government's offer, we need to know what the mind of the government actually is. Labour was actually suggesting 615,000 naira, which we all were talking about. A lot of Nigerians were reacting that this may not be feasible looking at the state of the economy now. But now coming up to say 48,000 naira, what's the difference between 35,000 and 48,000? And how much the difference would it cushion the effect of the economy, the effect of the economy on individuals, on businesses in this present day and age? So all of these questions are what Nigerians are asking, and the government should come up and give us something tangible. 48,000 is too small, if you ask me.
Okay, so how much are you proposing?
Above
Apart from the
100.
600 and
Above 100,000.
above 100,000,
Yes.
that's it.
Not even
All right,
100,000.
let me get to Dorcas now. Dorcas, let's take it from this angle. She is saying it is small, all right, but then 35,000 and they've upped it to 48,000. At all, now him bad pass. According to half bread is better than full chin chin and hair, and it's even better than puff puff. So as it is right now, a lot of slangs. We are Nigerians, so that's how we do it. Sometimes you hear us talk like this because we want to water down some tension. As it is, Dorcas, just in few words, don't you think the federal government have tried to an extent to even, it's one thing to make a proposal and it's another thing for it to give attention, because the federal government can still decide to keep quiet and you keep doing your protest and I don't know how many results protests have yielded in Nigeria. So what do you think? Are you not given at least a plus? Even you may say it's not enough, but don't you think it's still a plus for at least upping it from 35,000?
When they wanted to increase the fuel pump price, they were not considering maybe when they wanted to, add money to the fuel pump price, they didn't check if it was going to affect us or not. 48,000 is nothing. How much is bag of rice? For one man with 3 children or 4 kids? How much is bag of rice? School fees is there. So you're telling me 40, it's nothing. There's no difference. In fact, it looks like 35 or how much is the one they are collecting now? Plus this one, there's no difference.
Okay.
The first and the second cannot buy a bag of rice. What about the other ingredients?
You're always talking of bag of rice on this show. Dorcas likes rice.
Now the difference between...
Yesterday she was advocating for her corner when we're talking about shanties. Today she's talking about rice.
Oh my goodness.
You like rice, right?
Rice is okay.
All right. She
It's a
said
saver.
rice is okay. As a matter of fact, let's call spade a spade at this point in time. As it is, it was 35,000 naira. Thank you, federal government, at least for upping it a little bit.
With 13,000
with
naira.
13,000 naira. But then you can do better. That's what we're saying. We didn't say you've not tried, but then don't be
cannot
quiet.
even fill
Don't
a
keep
tank-
quiet
your
about
cat,
it. All right.
The tank of your car, it can't fill it.
Now NLC is saying, well, we are not still accepting the 48,000 naira. So there should be more negotiations coming up. We're not saying you've not tried, federal government. You've tried. Open it a little bit, at least. You can still do better.
At least go
Looking at
120.
the circumstances and the economic situation. And that's going to be the size of the review for this morning. It's been a very swell time. When we talk about things affecting Nigerians, there is a way we have a push. There is a way we have this ginger. And that is what you get every day on Outnumbered. Keep tab on the channel. Oweleke TV is the name of the channel. Subscribe to it on YouTube and also turn on the notification button so you will be the first to get entertainment, information, and of course, education from this channel. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Thank you for keeping the date with us. We'll come on your way again tomorrow for the TGIF edition of Outnumbered. Bye-bye for now.